Okay, so far we've made the capacitors, we've made the discs. What we need to do now is obviously make the body and start assembling this thing. Now it does need a drive mechanism, and for a while what I was thinking was the peg and gear cog system that we used. But actually I'm loving the traditional look of this, so rather than do that, what I thought is I'd go for the traditional drive, which is a twisted belt pulley. What that means is we need a bottom axle that's going to act as a pulley. So I've got two pulleys here that I cut from wood, pulleyed them out, and then I've got a whole load of discs that I cut from the mahogany table. And I'm going to make up a central axle with two pulleys on it that will have a belt going to the pulleys on the wheels there. So we turn the handle and we get rotation and contra-rotation. That'll be a bit clearer once we put this whole thing together. But essentially, to get the right thickness, we want the pulleys to be more or less in line with the drive pulleys on the bosses. Now, we've used the mahogany coffee table, and that's exactly what we've got here. So we've got the same thickness of wood, and all I've done is count the number of discs and add in one disc for the central drive discs. So that means 9 discs. That's a lot of discs, but still, there we have 7 little mahogany discs and 2 large pulley discs. 5 of them go in the centre, and that should space it out to the correct spacing so that they match the bosses, and then we pretty it up with 1 on each end. So I'm going to put all that together, and that will be the drive system. And that's the drive pulley finished. Now we need to hold these apart obviously, because the drive pulley drives those wheels and we need something to hold them apart, and what we're going to use as uprights are our coffee table legs. So we're going to glue the 2 coffee table legs together, pin them through, drill them out, and they will be the uprights. It's glued together and drilled out. So that's the top bit which is going to fit the wheels, and there's the bearing that's going to fit the drive spindle. And that actually is just a bit of pretty, because the table leg had a rebate for a shelf in it, and I matched those up and then drilled it out so it looked like I intended on doing it. I mean, there's a lot of things here where you're basically just making decisions about what you think looks pretty. So once I've made those, what I've done is got yet another cutting board. And this is because I was in the local store and I saw this, and this has an angle on it. Now normally these things are square, but somebody had thought it was a good idea to put this angle on, and they weren't selling very well, so in the sale. And I looked at it and thought, that looks like I've got a bit of board and done something to it when I didn't need to. All I did was buy it like that. And that's really just keeping your eyes open and seeing what you think looks pretty and will work. Now for the feet, what I've used is these really cheap wooden door handles, but they come with a flathead screw like that. I don't like that, so I chopped the head off the screw and fixed a cat nut on it to hold those feet on and oiled the feet. And to my eye, that looks really pretty. So we're basically there actually with the structure. Once we've made these uprights and found ourselves a baseboard, we're there. Now these things all slot together. This one, incidentally, has been doweled and is permanently fixed. This one won't be permanently fixed because we're going to need to break it down at some stage or other and dismantle it, and if we permanently fix both of these uprights, then there's no chance we're going to be able to dismantle the thing, so don't do it. Now we put that there, and this one goes here. We're beginning to get something that looks like a Wimshurst machine. Obviously we've got our feet for our capacitors, and I did put rubber on those feet incidentally, and you really can't see it. And they'll go there and there, with the capacitors, the Leyden jars actually sitting nicely in there obviously. And they're like that. So like I say, it's beginning to look like a Wimshurst. Now I've got this little bit of block mahogany, again with a rubber foot and a rebate cut in the top, and that will go there. And the reason for that is these 2 jars need connecting, and remember we put that bottom little connection point there. That brass bar will fit in there, there we go, and then we can connect the jar to the bar, the jar to the bar, and it's got a nice little support. So we're going to do all of that, because the next thing to do with this is to make the turn handle and the drive belts. Then actually that's pretty much the structure of it done. So I'm going to fix these permanently, put this on so it can be dismantled, and then we'll make those drive belts. Okay, so we've made a handle, and it's just a bit of coffee table leg with a dowel in it. and our connector support. So there, remember, we'll join the two capacitors, brass bar, a couple of chunks of wood, and then the last thing we need to do is to make the drive belts. Now, I make the drive belts out of these things. They're leather bootlaces. And I do that because leather was the stuff that was previously used. Now, obviously, it's not very vegan of me, but if you want to use different materials, then rubber would probably work. Get a strip of rubber and glue it together. That'll make you a nice drive belt. Another one that would be really good would they actually produce drive belts out of plastic, and you heat weld the ends together, so you could get a bit of that drive belt and make your own drive belts that way. But we're going to use leather bootlaces. Now, they do have a little bit of stretch, which is really kind of cool, and they are quite long, although I have set these relatively close. Now, there are two drive belt configurations in a Wimshurst. The first one is a straightforward loop. You just measure up your loop, join the ends, and that makes you your drive belt. So it's just like that. The second one, where you get the contra-rotation from, is a figure of 8. So it crosses over like that, and that drives the other wheel in the opposite direction. So just to go through that again, one is in that direction, one has a cross, a figure of 8 in it, and it's in that direction. To measure up the drive belt, just loop them around your pulleys. Mark where they are, and it has a little bit of stretch, so cut off an extra couple of millimeters. And that will be my first drive belt. On the other one, don't forget the figure of 8 when you loop it around your pulleys, because it does travel an extra distance when it has that figure of 8. Now, I've got two drive belts from one bootlace, which is kind of cool. That gives me a spare bootlace to make the other drive belts from when these ones inevitably break. And the way to put these together is make sure that the bootlace, which has a polished side and an unpolished side, is untwisted, and then join those with a spot of super glue. Okay, so the super glue is just there actually to hold it in registration. When that's under tension, that will fail. So what we need to do is sew it together. You sew it together by putting about 4 or 5 stitches through it. Now, you'll never get the needle through, so it's a good idea to drill it out with a 1mm hole before. Okay, so when you put about 4 or 5 stitches in there, and it's just like sewing on a button, and to be honest, if you can't sew on a button, you're in far more trouble than just not being able to make a Wimshurst machine. But when you put your stitches through, use the rest of the cotton to whip the joint, and just pass the cotton around, whipping those together. Then when you've done that, knot it to finish it, and a tiny spot of super glue to secure the knot. And then trim it off and you've done. Okay, so I've put the belt on, there's the figure of 8 there, the straight one's on the front, and I've attached my handle to it. So if I spin that round and give that handle a crank, you should be able to see clearly it's contra-rotating, which is exactly what we want. Now, the only things really we need to do to finish this off is pop in our pre-made bits. So that capacitor goes there, that capacitor goes there, and then we have to join those two capacitors at the bottom, and we're going to use that joining bar to do that. There we go, and that's the job done. Now, we still need to make the collector combs, which go here and here at crossing the centre, and the neutralising bars. We're going to do that in the next video, which will finish this task. But I think it looks really lovely, actually, and I actually think it makes my woodworking skill look better than it actually is. I mean, my woodworking skill isn't that great. I mean, I basically took materials that more or less were already there, and this baseboard was just 4 holes drilled in it because I bought it at the supermarket. These uprights were already beautifully made legs, and my skill was limited to chopping off a straight line, which I did in the chop saw, so not tremendously skillful really, But a nice job, I think, and I'm actually quite proud of it, but you don't need to be mightily skilled in woodwork to make one of these things. Just need to select your materials. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll finish this off in the next one, and thank you very much for watching.